Good afternoon. It is April 10th, 2022. I had a couple notifications from people sharing my videos, and it's not people that I like. So I'm not going to look at what they have to say about my content because obviously they just need something to do. And I'm like, I don't really feel like playing into all that drama. I'm just done. So as soon as I see who's sharing my videos, I'm going to leave it at that. You can go ahead and keep from your blocked accounts sharing my stuff, which is funny to me. The lighting is really bad, of course, because like I'm in a parking garage right now. So I know that there are times where I look cuter than I actually am. No, just fine. I don't know. I get told I'm pretty cute in person. It's a lot of the reflection gets all of my flaws on camera. And, but that's not what this video is about. This video is about, just my frustration this morning. I had to get it out because I use my turn signal, my blinker, as I'm driving, if I'm changing lanes, because I was taught well. I was taught how to drive in Wisconsin, so I know how to parallel park even. I know sometimes I'm a little off with it because I'm nervous because it might be a high traffic area. Well, I'm in a fairly large city right now, but there wasn't much traffic on the road that I had been driving on this morning. And I noticed a donation area for the Goodwill. And I had a few things that I had to donate, like those panties that didn't fit me. So I went to drop them off right there, and then and I had my blinker on. I always give plenty of time for my blinker, and this guy comes speeding behind me, slams on his brakes and honks at me because I'm turning into the drive, because apparently I was like, it's right around a curve, so he didn't see me. So what did he do? Honk at me. And I flipped him off. I was like, are you stupid, you piece of shit? Like, you literally are in the wrong for, speeding down this road, slamming on your brakes because you didn't see my blinker. And it's like, you're clearly in the wrong. So, I thought it was funny. It's not like he could even see me flipping him off probably, but him and his bougie sunglasses and thinking he's all that and whatever little vehicle he had. And I was just like, do you not realize you're just like that woman that just shared my video? Like the crazy one in the bikini that likes to all day and night. Like, yeah, she likes to take it in all the holes and then some. So anyway, but yeah, I've and a lot of people, they feel like they're so disrespected by my phrasing and what I call them out on and the shit that they do. And I'm like, no, you did it first. You started it first. Otherwise, I wouldn't disclose your issues. And that's how it is. And a lot of people know me. I mean, personally, like people that I went around with and whatever, people from the churches I frequented, people that, were around me at the gyms that I frequented. And I even came through an area too where I recognized some of the gentlemen, and they were like all polite. They were glad to see me and stuff because they recognized me. And even I went to a new restaurant last night, and I meant to relay this also. And it was delicious. I'm not going to say it wasn't tasty. Cauliflower wings with vegan ranch and waffle fries. But I got 3/4 of the way through with it, and I started having, and at first it was delicious. When you bite into something that is so savory like that, full of oils, full of, all that, just oils are bad for you. Frying things are all bad for you. But when you bite into it, it's sort of like that addiction of where you want more of it. You crave more because it is so savory, or it's so, it's got that extra scrumdiddlyumptiousness. That's all I could think of. Okay, so but yes, so I had the broccoli. I'm sorry, fried cauliflower wings, and was eating it with the ranch and everything. And I had the celery. I had whatever weird, they had like pickled peppers with it. I thought that was strange. Like, give me some normal stuff with my wings, like some carrot sticks and celery sticks. They only gave me 4 pieces of celery, and I was just thinking, like, anyway, like, I need more greens than that. So I should have got that side salad, but then it was $6.50. I was like, I'm not paying for a salad when I finally got some of my WIC back, and I can just go to the grocery store and grab some organic produce and eat it in the car. Um, and that's how I maintain a lot, is that I grab things here and there, and then I'll have, like, I've got my bowl, and I saved this from one of the takeout places, and it's microwavable, and I fill it up, and I make my, like, salads, and people see me go in and out of places, they probably think I bought it something fancy, because I used to, at first, when I first was living out my car, I would make my salads with the greens. I would put in, like, cashews in there, and I would also put things like hummus to make it, and then I'd also put sliced avocado in there, and any form of, like, different nuts and things like that, and also vegan croutons that I really like. I do like a lot of processed food too, as well as my organic foods and my whole food, like my whole food type stuff, the greens and produce. So anyway, and then I wash this up. I make sure to wash it up in the facilities after I use it, and it's super easy. That's barely an inconvenience. And and so people think it's funny that I've sustained myself for a year and a half in my car, and I'm thinking, do you not realize it's actually been a lot more satisfying for me, because I haven't had any drama from other individuals, and I was able to afford myself just fine until my ex-husband fucked me over with that $4,316 that was taken from me, and then I wasn't able to get paid for those many months, and then some, plus I lost all of my belongings. So if you accumulate all that financial deficit, you'd understand that that's why I'm going through the turmoil that I'm going through now. But I just say that it's in God's hands, and that it's my my test in that way to get through these hardships in order to come out, maybe not prosperous, but come out sanctified. I'm just playing. No, I just come out just sort of not successful even in that way, because there's no success after somebody has destroyed you emotionally and psychologically. There is no winning or losing. It's all loss in my mind, all of it. So like I had been stating, and then also too, like with my oatmeal bowl, you see me do it all the time, and I keep this bowl so if I have to use it for other things, and it's, what is that word? I want to say combustible, but that's not right. Jesus, sometimes I get so caught up. I think it's just like, I need to stop smoking weed at some point. I really do, just to see how I work, just to see how well I go without the marijuana, and just doing things naturally. But there's too much stress with a child and not having a safe place to live. There's always going to be some vice for individuals, and people that go through my circumstances, usually they go for things like cigarettes, but cigarettes are so expensive, they don't even realize that they're going through 3 packs a day until they're going through 3 packs a day, and it all adds up. So I really don't try to splurge, and I didn't try to splurge that much. So when I lost all that money and wasn't able to find a location, everyone said that it was my fault. And I was like, I clearly do not see it as being my fault. I am literally disabled due to all of this post-traumatic stress. I'm literally not able to technically take care of myself because I cannot finance myself. if I were able to finance myself freely, you would see me progress even further than I've progressed now. So even on the tiny income that I make, less than $1,000 a month, I was able to sustain myself. Now I'm not able to afford my car payment because I was in that much of a deficit. And when I got pregnant, I knew something was off, because when I found out I was pregnant, actually a few weeks after, I noticed that I was extremely hungry all the time. So I tried to get myself things like vegan options that were maybe a little bit pricier than I should have gone for, but my mind had gone already. Like when a woman goes, the hormones are there. She just wants to satiate her desires in that way. I had cravings. What can I say? I even had pickles at that time. Like pickles. I don't eat a lot of pickles. I don't. I mean, I'll eat pickled jalapenos, things like that. I love that. Vinegar and all that. And sometimes vinegar chips, if they're not too overwhelmingly saturated with the vinegar. But and then the salt, and then it ends up cutting my lips. And then I realize, like, oh well, if it's doing that to my external, then what's it doing to my insides? And I noticed that too with all the dyes and additives. So even with my vitamins, I avoid ones with any type of dyes in them. And the same thing, cereals got a bunch of that type of stuff too. All these different types of products out there that have added dyes. And if you think about it, a little bit is not going to hurt you, but a little bit in every product, a little bit, and you consume so much of it and it adds up. So it got to me too. It was overwhelming. I was couponing for so long that I was getting so many free products that I went with it. And then I had to realize, oh, these free products aren't necessarily the healthiest and actually cause detrimental effects in the body from prolonged use and exposure to these types of things. So I had to realize all the things through even Johnson & Johnson and all those coupons and everything like that, that you just never know where this stuff is coming from. You never know how that toothpaste is going to affect you, and this and this and this, when they say that fluoride is linked to dementia now. And I stopped using fluoride toothpaste, and my dentist has not had an issue. I mean, they're actually very pleased with the way I maintain my mouth now, as opposed to years ago when I was suffering through all the depression from having to be around the individuals that were continually abusing me. So I'm doing better on my own psychologically. I'm just not doing that great financially. And that's where I'm like, oh, how am I supposed to figure this out if I don't want to take from people? If I don't want to, and the only thing I have to offer is myself and my time. So that's why I went to cuddling. But I don't really even want to touch anybody. They're gross. Not everybody. I'm just saying, like, in general, like, gross. The people that want to pay me to touch me. That's better avoid that, if I want to keep my sanity and a bit of what's left of my integrity. So anyway, I didn't even check to see what those messages were on the whatever shared. So whomever shares my content, realize that they just want to slander what and be obnoxious and try to say backhanded and very perversely incorrect statements toward my reality. And they're just jealous in that way, very envious that they don't have anything better to do in their own life, and they don't stand for any purpose whatsoever aside from demeaning others. So, and I don't stand for that. I don't. So I'm just going to ignore it, because I'm like, inevitably you'll get yours. And also too, if you're a fake account, then I really have nothing to worry about. Whatever you're stating is incorrect, and I have nothing to try to combat. And I'm just going to go about my days. And like yesterday, when I worked out and everything, I was going to go back and go swimming, but I didn't make it back in time. So I'm back at the facility now, and I'm going to go swimming for a bit. Then I'm going to shower up and everything, but I feel like I'm just so overwhelmingly exhausted from pregnancy now. Like all of a sudden I ballooned up. Like, what happened this last week? I mean, I knew it was progressively getting worse. I knew I could feel my womb just expanding. I knew from the moment it fucking happened that there was something not right, because I felt little weirdly bubbly gurgles in there, and it was not in my digestive tract. So when I went into the convenient care thinking it was an STD, and it turned out, oh no, you don't got any STDs, but you got a baby. And it's like, oh Jesus, I didn't know how to handle that. Oh, that was overwhelming. I cried. I cried. I was so sad. I was like, oh my God, the father doesn't like me. What is going to happen to this kid? You know, like, this kid's going to be all fucked up in the brain because its dad didn't want it whatsoever in the slightest. Damn. Damn. And also, too, I didn't necessarily want it, and I wasn't seeking sex. Yikes. I could have sought sex, but I didn't want to because men are gross. And then I realized the majority of them don't clean their dicks properly. They don't. They're gross. They don't know how to wash themselves. And I don't want that inside of me. I didn't want any infections. I didn't want any, yeast infections or anything from sleeping with random dudes. And even like when you use condoms, same thing. You've got the bacteria from your hand that transfers over to the condom, and you're shoving that inside of you. When you're using your fingers, you've got the bacteria underneath your nails. And I don't do that. I don't penetrate myself like that. I'm going to be completely honest. And my gynecologist knows it. Like, yup. Nope. That's not something that I find pleasurable, like doing it on my own, which is weird because, most people are talking about this and that, but I had some horrific experiences growing up and I'm still traumatized by it. So, no thanks. I'm over it. And so I think about the bacteria, I think about all that, and it's not just about bacteria and viral infections. It's not about that. It's about the energy flow that is created when you are, doing these acts. So, and people don't understand that. Men just think, oh yeah, we'll just do it with everybody, and that makes me feel great. I get a high off of it because I'm always ejaculating and orgasming all the time and everything and everyone. And it's like, get over yourself. You're not a god. You're the opposite of a god if you're doing that. You're literally the devil, and you're going around hurting and disrupting other people's lives. So it's the opposite of God. So godly men stick around for their wives. Godly men are there for their wives when they give birth and this and that, and they want to partake in a family aspect of it because it's the male female of it. And even if it's not male female, say it's same-sex gender couples, there's still that masculine feminine energy within that, the yin and yang. So, and they balance themselves out in some form because they, you have to compromise within a relationship. So, but I've not found anybody that I wanted to compromise with yet. So that's why I was like, okay, I'm not seeking it. And that was actually really beneficial, being celibate. And that's why I thought this child was definitely like a miracle baby, because I sure as fuck didn't expect it. I sure as fuck didn't think that, I did. At the moment when we did it, I said, that plan B. He asked me if I went and got it. How the fuck was I gonna go get it, Jason Wallace, without any fucking money? If you would have given me the money and said, this is for the plan B, go get it, there would have been a difference. But even through the text, it said, he asked me about the plan B, and I said, they're $50. And so, like, you obviously can tell from that correspondence that he did not offer to help with the birth control whatsoever, and he literally just raw dogged it. Just, what the fuck? So anyway, my life. I think I'm hilarious because I'm like, whatever, this is overwhelming. And the people don't understand. They can't really take me sometimes the way I converse, because I will say the most crude things that are, shocking to most people. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? Like, this is a part of our culture now. This is a part of, explaining what has happened. And that's why I cuss, and that's why I do this and that, because some people can understand that better, or they engage with my emotions better when I'm just being honest. Just my raw form like that. Raw. Now I'm going to think about that. Pervert. And then he asked to what he said was, I said something about like the plan, we were talking about the plan B, and I was like, are we going to have any more sex? Because I figured, like, fuck it, he's not going to get in trouble for the first time that he fucked me. Might as well get some sex out of it a little bit. I was in pain though. I don't know what I was thinking. Really, I didn't want it. I don't know what I was thinking. I guess because I was thinking maybe if I had sex with him again, he would want a relationship. But that was stupid on my part. I don't know what I was thinking. So I even mentioned it. I was like, are we going to continue to have sex? And he was like, oh, I can pick up condoms. That doesn't fucking help the fact that you came in me already. Not at all. Obviously. Like, what the fuck are men... What in the fucking God's name are men thinking? Like, what? Completely just ass backwards. Like, who does that? So, parts of my story, and I get so overwhelmed because all I do is just like snap back and forth from my past, present, and I guess future. I don't know, because sometimes, I'm telling you, I see some shit, or I hear some shit, or I have these intuitive moments where I'm just like, I just know better. So, I try to warn people about certain stuff too, and I try to tell people about certain things, but nobody wants to listen. So, anyway, when I ended up not being able to swim yesterday, and I'm gonna go swim right now, and then shower up and everything like that, I feel terrible that I don't have any other access. Sometimes when I go to different towns, there's only one location I can go to that has a pool or something. Excuse me. I just had my vitamins too, so that makes me a little bit gassy. Which reminds me, I walked into one of the gyms just now, in and out, to go wash up my stuff because I was organizing my car again because it had gotten out of hand. It was, anyway. Smelled like straight shit in the entire facility. And then the dude that came out of the male restroom just left the door open with no fan on. And I'm thinking, did you not know that you stunk up the entire facility just now? And like you left the door open just to... The fuck is wrong with people, I swear to God. So anyway, and I know I'm really sensitive because of my nose and whatever, but I am so tired of having to just live in my car. I'm so tired of having to just maintain on this tiny little allotment when everybody else keeps robbing from my existence. And even that, it's just like, how would I ever get any compensation for anything that they've done to me? They don't have money. They don't have anything. And so when I thought that I would be nice to these people, I thought, okay, yeah, they'll help me if I'm nice to them. They just don't like my mouth. And no, just no. I want nothing from these people. If you can't handle my mouth, then you can't handle me in the slightest, and I can't fucking handle you. So, and that's how it is. That's how I deal with things now. And from now on, just back the fuck up, And everybody should understand that now that we have COVID and the 6 feet and everything like that. It should not be an issue to tell somebody to get out of your personal space, because we all have what's called, I guess, miasma or something like that, where it's sort of like an energy flow around us from our own microbials, bacteria, everything that is discharged from our bodies, dander and whatnot. So, yeah, our breath, all of that stuff, is sort of like our aura, and I try to explain that to people in that way. And they don't understand it. So they start getting all crazy with the whole you're a spiritualist bullshit. And I was just like, well, kind of, but not really, because in the sense that if you can't see that shit, if you can't understand that shit, if you can't tell what the fuck, that's why there's different colors and whatever. I can't necessarily see all the colors, but I can tell when people are sick in some ways. And so there are times where I'm avoidant. There's times where like I can realize like, no, there's, obviously there's something wrong with that individual. I need to stay back. And, or I can be polite to them at a distance, and so that they don't come at me as if I'm going to disrupt them, because I can see how toxic they are. And I know that their mind isn't necessarily there. And it's not necessarily a manipulation tactic on my end, but it's sort of just a protective measure where I'm just like, okay, hi, how are you? It's nice to see you, blah, blah, blah. And it's, and I can understand that when I was sick too, that's how people treated me. Kept me at a distance, but I haven't met too many spiritualists. But when I have, I've been told some stuff that I didn't want to hear. So, and that was accurate. So, and the lady guessed the baby's sex as being a boy. And I'm going to call that Walmart and tell them, because, I'm not going to be able to pass there or anything, but to let her know that she was right. I just wanted her, to want her to understand, like, yeah, hey, guess what? I'm the lady in the bathroom. She doesn't work till Tuesday, though, is what she said. And I try to keep track with things better now. I've gotten much better at it throughout the last few years that I was just on marijuana and cleansing my system from all the pharmaceuticals, because it takes years to cleanse out all of those toxins from your body. It really does. It's a progressive process. You have to just, take care of yourself. Anyway, this has already been 30 minutes. Jesus, I don't even know what I was talking about. But some of the times I just want to rant because it's too stressful having to deal with life. Like that guy honking at me, and I just wanted to flip him off. Like, what is wrong with you? Oh, I did want to mention that little girl that was sitting in the passenger's lap as they were driving away from the Walmart. Normally, I call the police about that stuff. I used to all the time. I realize now that the police don't like me. And I realize now that the police never understood where I was coming from. And I also know now that the police don't care what I have to say, because if they don't witness it themselves, they're not going to do anything about it. So I am just a civilian, and my opinion doesn't matter, especially mine. That's why I don't call the police on that stuff anymore. I used to all the time when I spotted things that were wrong, things that, are illegal. And instead of seeing it as me being like a good Samaritan, everyone saw me as being a Karen and saw me as being somebody that would just wanted to bitch about something. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm done. Like, I'm not going to call the police. I mentioned that, like, I'm just not going to call on the police to expect them to do their jobs anymore. Because after this amount of time, I've been traumatized by the officers. Completely traumatized. The fact that I filed for rape and now it came back on me, or so they say, and even my doctor said, isn't that weird? Aren't they supposed to have an investigation? Well, you would think so, but since I'm hated because I spoke out against the system and the men behind it, there's the difference. And people know personally, they know one-on-one, and they're like, shit, girl, you fucked up. No, I didn't, because I wouldn't fucking give a shit. My life doesn't matter. So if I die, or if they do shit to fuck me over, I'm actually blessed in that way. Because fuck this plane, fuck this life, and fuck helping them, and fuck all that shit. I tried to help you when I was a kid. I tried to call on my fucking sister who had shitty ass fucking dogs in her backyard. I've been calling the feds, the police, my entire fucking life. And yet, they don't see me as a fucking good Samaritan. They see me as a narc. They see me as somebody that would narc on them if I could. And I do. So fuck you people. That's why I say, like, this is a war. This is completely a war between, you know, these people that are privileged and have had the privileges of having that support somehow. And then there are the people that don't get quite enough support because they weren't allotted that in life. So that makes me hungry again. I'm hungry. I might go get something to eat before. I probably should go get something else to eat before I start swimming and stuff. I slept only 6 hours last night, so I'm tired right now at this very moment. And I'm so irritated that I can't trust anyone, absolutely anyone. The family that I came from, they all told me, don't trust the officers. They're just out to hurt you. I didn't want to believe them. I said, no, the police will see me as trying to be a helpful human being. The police will see me as, the victim or whatever in that way. I didn't mean it like that, but, see me as the good guy in this and see me as just trying to be helpful. But that didn't happen. That never happened. I was always looked at, questioned, because I had already been on psych meds since I was a child. So they couldn't trust what I had to say because I flip-flopped in the emergency room that day when I tried to commit suicide at the age of 12. And I told them that I lied about everything. So then they couldn't trust me. Do you not realize that I was forced to lie because my parents came in sobbing to me saying if I said anything more then they would get in trouble? And also, too, they would kill me. So I've been mistreated my entire life by all these systems, and nobody has done anything to try to stand up for me. And I tried to tell my ex-husband about it, and I presumed that I was safe with him and that all of my secrets and blah, 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 and what has truly happened in my life. And he went around and he started talking to my mom about it and whatever, too, and he got a different story from her. It's always a different story from every individual. So that's why they didn't want to trust me. They were like, well, what are you talking about? Your family, your entire family says otherwise. The same with his, when they beat the shit out of me. Their entire family said that I physically assaulted them. And my ex-husband probably saw the rotation of that, and I thought, well, what the fuck am I doing wrong here? Like, I'm telling the officers I'm a victim. Hey, I'm calling the police. Please help me. 911. I do not suggest calling 911 for anything anymore because literally they do not do anything to help you. I saw some documentation or some documentaries recently or whatever excerpts that stated that, one woman died because it took the officers, they were on hold on 911 or, like on dispatch on hold for like 30 minutes or something. And by the time the paramedics got there and whatever, like 2 hours had gone by and the woman was dead. So, and it was a young girl. So, and that's happening in this day and age right now because nobody wants to do their jobs, because the people that were placed in these authoritative positions, in, medic positions, in all these other positions, they strove to get to that point to get the money. That's all they were looking for, was the finances behind these jobs, these careers, instead of realizing that there are better people out there suited for it that wouldn't want to take that much money just to do the same job. And like me, like I would be able to do all these different types of jobs, and I never sought the money. That's why I just never got those degrees and those certifications and all this and that, because I knew it was a bunch of nonsense and the world was coming to an end, in the sense that, people, they're seeking nurses, they're doing all this and that, but then all of a sudden there's no jobs, or there's no like availability for jobs for it. All these people that have been grandfathered in to all these careers that don't know what the fuck they're doing anymore. They don't know about the advancements in science and everything like that. in psychology, and then they're still getting paid. And it's like, good for you, buddies, but that's crazy. You're not doing your fucking jobs right, and you hate your career, you hate your job, and it makes you look terrible as a human being because all you went for was the money. You didn't actually go for, helping others. That's what the point of being in the service industry is. And what is the word for you know when like medical, the word for anyway, officers and medics and firemen and all this stuff, those types of careers, those types of people went for the money. A majority of them went for the money, and they were not compassionate enough for the job. So they need to have psychological testing for a lot of these people, because a lot of them don't know what they're doing, and they would much rather get people in trouble, all kinds of people, ticket here, ticket there, and ruin these people's lives because they're going through their own mental distortions, because all they're seeking is money. They didn't go in it for the the humanities. When you go into the humanities, as a career platform, as a career category. So when you go into that, you presume you're doing it so you can help others. When we're kids, that's what we think about. When you get older, you think about the finances, because nobody can finance themselves and all the billions of kids they want to fucking have. And now I'm stuck, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm pregnant. Like, how am I going to do this? And I seek help from the humanities, and there is no help. There is no help. So I realize, the world is coming to an end. I get that. There's, cycling out of the old and in with the new. And that's just the sad part, is that, everybody is out for themselves, and nobody is out to help others like they swore an oath to do. Like all these people in the medical fields and this and that. I told you about the HIPAA violation, and just nobody cares about their jobs because they're being rushed. And it's kind of like being in the service industry now, where they're so rushed to have to take care of everything that they're being pulled in too many directions. They don't keep track of what the fuck they're doing, because all they're thinking about is their home life in the middle of trying to work, which people need to realize our minds go everywhere. And even judges that are sitting on the benches and all that stuff, there's been proven surveys done that say that when a certain time of day or a certain day in itself for seeing the judge will be, and the judge will be more lenient toward you because of their mood, because they haven't been exposed or tired, or before lunch and after lunch and yada yada. They haven't been stressed out that much. So I don't remember what it was. I guess it was earlier in the day you had a better chance of getting off easy in the court system, as opposed to later on when everybody's tired from working 8 hours. And it's like, who wants to work 8 and 12-hour days or 16-hour days? And all this stuff that truckers do too. They're on the road being dangerous as fuck, and I've seen a lot of it too. The truckers that just sort of swerving here and there, getting too close to you. They're obviously tired because they had to pull a haul that was 20 hours or whatever. And I'm just thinking what is the world coming to? These people went for the money. They're not taking care of their bodies. They're not taking care of their minds in conjunction to their body. And that causes more strain on the rest of the world, because we have to deal with all of these people's psychological impairments, and they're in denial of it. And the same with, like I said, all these people in these positions, like the officer that forced me into giving him fellatio. The fuck is that about? The fuck is that about? And I've been talking about it since it fucking happened. So, to the fucking therapists and shit. But of course, that stuff's not documented, is it? Oh, and when I speak out about it, nobody says shit about it. And when I try to file for rape, there's no documented rape report. Interesting. Interesting. I never got an actual number. So then I realized after these years, and even when I was waking up after this last time in the psych ward, I was still calling the police for things, other things that I was seeing that were illegal. And apparently they think that I'm deranged and that I need to be put behind bars for some random reason, like falsifying a rape report. How deranged do you have to be to not see it from a woman's perspective in that way? I said no. Numerous times I said no. Like the fuck, and I'm forced to have a baby right now because I said no? I'm trying to make light of it. I'm trying to have a good mood about it. Miracle baby. Like, this happened for a reason. It all worked out in the end best for me because either I detach from it psychologically or inevitably I'll just. There is so much that I just want to convey to the world about how fucked up it is and what I see here and there. And people think that I'm a bad judge of character. Excuse me, what? Do you know what happens behind closed doors with these individuals? Can you see into their eyes and recognize when they're actually lying about shit? I've seen a lot of it. I had refused to believe certain people were lying to me because I thought that they had integrity and I thought that they had some semblance of dignity. So, but instead, they prefer to lie and they prefer to expose their own mental distortions by having lied. But then they turn around and they lie to the authorities and say that I was the one that was the issue and that I manipulated them and lied to them. In actuality, that's not the case now, is it? You've had your eyes on me for many years now, and all I ever do is avoid confrontation. So when I do get confronted and then I'm forced to have to confront, people back and have to defend myself, that's when people start getting aggravated too because they think that my opinion is invalid because of these psych meds and whatnot and because of my classified disability. So I feel that that's interesting because although I am disabled and I do deserve my insurance and I do deserve an allotment grander than what I'm getting, then I definitely believe that I am fucking horrified. I am so goddamn mad. Who in the fuck allows this type of shit to happen to their fucking precious US citizens like that? Who in the fuck is running the country into the goddamn ground? And it's like, wait a minute, it's not even the presidents. It's the people behind it, behind the fucking facade. So that's why I talk to these people, those people in particular, because that's all I want to reach out to. And then I want to reach out and expose this for my children so that they understand the hardships that I had to endure for them to be birthed into a world that's fucking toxic and full of carnage. So then I'm like, okay, I just have to go about my day, go get my snacks, go get my salad. Actually, I was going to go to a salad chain right now because they make some good food sometimes. Like, you go to a place that makes salads, yeah, good. Because it's like you get like an $8, $12 salad, and it's worth it because it's got all the key components that you need for that meal. And it's a healthy way of detoxing your body. So, but most people don't want to hear it. They think a vegan diet is crazy and deranged, and it's like plant-based. What? I need my meat. I'm a man. Real men eat meat and get diabetes. Real men eat meat and get coronary heart attacks and shit, coronary problems, or what is it, and cardiac arrest. So, yeah, keep being a real man then. Keep being a real man, and I want to see you eat plates full of bacon and all the cholesterol behind that, and how you end up with all these ailments and gout. Be a real man. I love seeing that, actually. And it's funny that people say, are you the type of woman that would make your man go vegan? I don't give a fuck what you manly men do. Go ahead and eat your burgers and eat your cheese and eat your bacon, and I want to see you die from all of this fucking cardiac arrest and shit and heart attacks. And all these inflammation that you get, and inflammation that you get not only in your feet from sitting all day, but in your goddamn brains, because you're not exercising enough to work out those chemical compounds that were forcibly injected into your fancy meats. So, yeah. And then it's just like, I don't care. Like, for me, the vegan diet has helped me really a lot. And like, overall, I feel a lot more energetic, and I don't have as many digestive upsets. I usually have a very easygoing bowel movement in the morning, and then that's it. And then unless I'm over consuming, or if I'm eating all these fancy vegan stuff with refined sugars and whatnot, and even in your salad dressings, all these different things. I know I was doing really good when I was making my salads, but I can't do that right now. I refuse to continue to work for a system that doesn't work. So the fact that I give away my information freely, that pisses people off. They know that I should try to make something of it, something about financial whatever. No. I'm not seeking financial stability in this life. I'm seeking emotional comfort and stability. And that's what I had explained to everyone throughout my life, is that that's what I was lacking. And I even wrote that in letters to the colleges when I had to reapply, because I had failed classes at some points. And if you pull up those letters that I had asked, because I had to, what is that? Appeal something or whatever for me to be able to go. Because of my failed courses in the college there at National Park. They might have it on record, those eloquently written letters that I wrote to them stating that I finally had the emotional support that I needed. Yet I didn't. Because every time I was gaslighted, every time I thought I had my feet solidly planted, I would get kicked. Everything would be kicked out from underneath me. So, but yeah. So I tell people all the time that, this is what would be beneficial for you, or, you're obviously not cleansed enough. These are the different types of vitamins and nutrients you might need because you're lacking in some form. And nobody wants to hear it from some random vagabond. Nobody wants to hear it from some random girl that was on a bunch of psych meds that's obviously disabled due to her craziness, due to her mental illnesses. So, no, I'm disabled because of my post-traumatic stress and my emotional instabilities. And I tell people all the time, there's a huge difference. There's a huge difference within being mentally ill and being emotionally unstable. So, and I get paid for being emotionally unstable now, because that's how it goes. And I didn't do it. My ex-husband did it. So like I said before, I'm not seeking that financial stability. I'm seeking love. And I've told people so many times, and they don't believe me. And I'm like, I'm literally living out of my car right now, and I'm refusing to date right now because I love this baby too much, and I want to keep it safe from men. And sure, I fucked somebody back on, Valentine's Day because I was so sad and I was suicidal. But, shit happens. Fuck it. Why do I care? And nobody loves me, so it's none of my business. I wanted to love myself for the moment, although I feel terrible afterward because I have a conscience, unlike other people. So, and like I tell people too about the veganism, because they all thought I was crazy about the animals. Oh, the animals have lives, blah blah blah. And I get that, they do. They have their own souls. You shouldn't be killing them in a huge, mass production of this stuff. Just what's up with their souls? Do they not matter? They've got feelings and emotions too. Farm animals do, and a lot of farmers know that, and that's insane. So when, God, I hope my hands, yeah, I just washed them. Okay. So that doesn't mean that my steering wheel has been cleaned. I have to go around and use sanitizing wipes to wipe everything off today too, because it's been way too many days and I see all the pollen on the outside of my vehicle, so I already know contaminants are everywhere. And that's why I wake up with a runny nose sometimes. And I swear there's a mouse in here. There was a mouse at one point, but I don't know if it's still in here. I hope not, but it might still be. There's a mouse in here. Damn. You know, because there was a little turd in one of my shoes. And I was like, shit, motherfucker. Like, where did you get in here? Or how'd you get in here? But I know it was just on a cold night that it just wanted somewhere to live. And I'm like, it's okay. Like, I don't mind sharing my space as long as you don't get me sick. Gross. So anyway, I don't know what I'm going to even title this video. I always have just random thoughts, and that's how it is. And I really don't know why I'm getting so many subscribers, aside from people thinking that, you know, this is a great train wreck to watch. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, because if it happened to you, you'd be horrified also. And if no one ever believed you, and every time you called the police, they just ignored you, then you would understand from my perspective. Because now I tell people, just don't call the police. They literally will not help you if they don't like you. And also, too, they're people and they get paid. So the fact that they get paid, they're swayed by the money. So that's why there's so much corruption in these fields. So in the humanities, what? Yeah. So anyway, because people are people. They need to survive, and they think that by hurting others and getting compensated with money like that. That's why I never even I called and asked attorneys about how I could probably sue somebody for anything. And like the gym circumstance where I was witnessed naked because the guy walked around the corner, I should be compensated for that shit. That's not okay. And the fact that it was not just once but twice during the duration of me just being in that area for a few days, that is not appropriate in the slightest. That I should get compensated big time for that shit, because now I've got to worry about the pain and suffering of watching my back when people are walking around in the facilities, and I shouldn't have to do that. When you're in the locker room, I shouldn't have to feel like I'm gonna get monitored, like watched by a bunch of men. Like, fuck that. So anyway, I think it's funny too when I go into the gyms and men are just in their fucking heads, and then they see a woman like me dancing all slutty, and I'm not even dancing slutty. I'm doing belly dancing, and I'm doing like hula, and I'm doing all these different techniques and just incorporating them all together because I enjoy different songs and whatever. And they'll sit there and get a boner and think that I don't notice it. No, I completely notice you over there trying to stare at your dick, like trying to calm it down. Like, I completely see it. And it's just so weird. Like, I'm not even that pretty. I'm not, I'm just talented in some ways that most people have never seen. They don't know if I'm white. They don't know if I'm mixed. They don't, you know what I mean? They're like, all they see generally is like a white girl moving like that. And they're like, Jesus, like, why doesn't my bitch move like that? Because she's fake. That's why. She's made out of plastic. And Barbies don't move like that. They weren't made to move like that. So they're made to lay there and take it. And also bitch constantly. And be shallow and vapid. That's what your Barbies do. And so when they see something like me and they're just like, oh, a Bratz doll, or whatever, some type of off-brand whatever, because I'm not the prettiest. I'm definitely off-brand and an original. And some people are like, and it's so funny, like, I don't know, I guess I really startle a lot of people, and that's why they always want to keep up with me and keep tabs on me and make sure I'm okay, because they're like, I've never met a person like you before. It's just so brutally honest and genuine and transparent. And I'm like, good, because that's how the world is going to be in the future. And I love to be one step ahead of the crowd, you know. And I never thought I'd be some type of leader or anything like that. But I did notice that a lot of people are starting to engage with my content in a positive way and reflecting on it as empathetically as they can, and thinking like, oh, what if I went through this? Or, I hope this woman the best. And I had one woman reach out to me to try to help me with resources, and she's in Canada though, so I don't know how well she would do. All she's got is her internet sources as well. I don't trust anybody, so I didn't reach out to her again. I didn't reach back because I don't trust the internet. I'm back. I'm sort of in between. I know I'm a millennial, and I was taught about the computer very early on. We had typing classes and everything like that. I can type very fast, but the fact of it is that technology has allowed a lot of people to hide behind masks, hide behind a bunch of, toxic behaviors, and like social media and everything like that. People only portray the best of themselves on there so that they can get away with manipulating others and making others believe that they have, all their ducks in a row, that they're doing great and whatever. I portray the opposite of that. I portray the brutal honesty behind what we're living through in this day and age. And I guess a lot of people are starting to enjoy that with my videos, and I don't really understand, because I speak for a very extended period of time. Some people only watch for a few minutes. Some people go back and listen and watch the entire video, and I'm just grateful in that way that people aren't I know some people bash me and they think that they know what they're talking about, but in the majority of it, I get complimented for allowing others to be themselves. That you have no idea how many times I have been thanked for being. I was always told, like, you've allowed me to open up. You've allowed me to open up a part of myself that I didn't know was there, or had lost many years ago. When people would see me dancing, the older people, even the older gentlemen, would come up and they would tell me, your dancing inspired me to start dancing, in my free time, or start, getting down with it as you're working out. Who cares what anybody else thinks? If you think you look silly, good. That's good. And then other people, hopefully, if they think you look silly, as long as you're having a good time and you're not hurting yourself or others, then go for it. Be yourself a little bit. Allow yourself to let loose every once in a while. And my dancing has helped people, engage with that side of them, that childish side of themselves. And it's not even just my dancing, it's my demeanor, it's my personality. When I talk to people and I open up to them and I ask them if they're okay, and they tell me a few things here and there, it's like I'm a free therapist a lot of times. I'm not gonna lie. I've helped a lot of people, and I've helped a lot of people rationalize within themselves what they're really hurting from and how they're going to fix it. And a lot of times the only way to fix it is to stop living in denial, and to face your fear, and to face that issue, and to face that drama, and to face that, hardship head on, no matter what is to come after that hurdle. Because you might land on both feet, you might stumble, and you might even fall directly on your face, or, just scuff yourself up. But that doesn't mean that you can't get back up. And even if you were to jump that last hurdle and pass over into the next realm, say, you you just landed head first, and you couldn't come back from that. That doesn't mean that you won't be blessed in the next life for trying to do better by yourself and others, and to be helpful as opposed to harmful toward everyone. And that's how I see it. And I still am very happy. A majority of the time, I'm very happy, and it's not stupidity. It's definitely not because I'm simple-minded. It's because I rationalize that smiling and laughing helps me get out of that negative space. And no matter what I'm doing, if I have to switch it to, hold on, just a minute, I've got to go watch some puppy videos, or do this and that, or, eat a snack, or something, this and that. Yeah. I just don't even know sometimes, because I know that I don't know that I'm helping others, and yet I do, because they see some girl happy within herself. Majority of me is happy within myself, understanding that I have flaws and owning those flaws, and saying, the fuck with you if you don't like me. Yeah, the fuck with you if you don't think that I'm correct, because, psychology says this, science says this, and also, my looks, my aesthetics don't really have anything to do with it. But I could definitely doll myself up for you if you'd need me, a pretty face to stare at for a moment. And that's why people thought I was manipulative, that, I would use those tactics just to get one over on everyone. And I'm like, do you know Leticia? Hold on. I know I've done that in the past. I know I went in and out of stores, especially in Hot Springs, and I stole a lot of shit. But it was only from stores that didn't have cameras. Yet, I already knew that there were cameras located in certain areas, and I knew that they would capture that I had, say, a bag with me, and I went in with a certain size of a bag and came out with a certain size of a bag. I'm not stupid. I understand all formats of that, and I could definitely work with people to help them find other individuals that do these things, because I used to be a kleptomaniac for no reason, and I would give away the items. I have no idea why I did these things. It was just part of me that I had to break, that I had to rationalize, like, you don't need this. Your friends don't need this. No one needs this. Donating it is not going to help you. Why do you keep taking from others? But I was angry. I was angry because my family, and they weren't supporting me, and I was angry because of this and that. And so I was very young, and then I stopped that many years ago. I don't steal from anybody. I don't ask for anything. If it's given to me, then there's a difference. But I'm not going to go around taking it. So yeah, when I guess I'm going to go eat a salad. I've already spent an hour doing this, and I better eat something before I get moving in the pool, because I'll be in there for at least an hour or so, and then shower up. I wish I had a date afterward, though. I wish I had someone that loved me, that's waiting for me. I wish I could get pretty right now just to go and see him, And I still can't believe I drove 4 hours just to get impregnated. And he only drove 30 minutes from his fucking mom's house. What a piece of shit. And why do I always go for the losers? Probably because I was looking for compassion and, companionship. And a lot of those people had compassion. Jason Wallace has none. Absolutely none. And if he doesn't get in trouble for this shit, then everybody knows through my story that the world is backward, and that they will not do anything to help the victims in the slightest. As I tell people, I'm going to start telling on you. I'm going to start sharing. I'm going to start telling people beyond what you expect. Like, I'm going to tell everyone I know certain aspects of what's happened and how it is not okay. And I am not fabricating anything in the slightest. And the fact that nobody believed me because they heard from so-and-so that heard from so-and-so that I wasn't to be trusted. And it's like, who? I'm sorry, what? Excuse me, what? Have you been around me behind closed doors? Well, now you have. Now you have. Now you've spent some time with Leticia and all of her emotions. Now you've spent some time with Leticia and everything, all of her thoughts and all of her perspective on life and how she's handled things and how she remembers things and how she chronicled everything and how she had a photographic memory about certain things, and that's why the trauma is relayed in perfect form for me every time. The beatings, the abuse, the sexual assaults, all of it. So now you've spent a fragment, just a fragment of time with someone that you should have been helping from the beginning as opposed to hurting. That could have been beneficial, but, for everyone. But also, too, I needed to go throughout life and learn these different skill sets that I didn't have prior, like being able to afford on such a low income and living in my vehicle, and all of these things are beneficial to me overall. Most people think that I'm just bitching and complaining. Oh, and there she goes. And I'm like, well, no, I see a blessing behind it. I know that my struggles have actually helped me in the long run. And struggling helps you to endure that pain, because nothing in life is easy. Nothing worth having in life is easy to get to. So I've tried to expose all bits and facets of myself to help everyone to engage, so that even like when my daughter comes back and she gets to know who her real mom is, that she won't have so much to be ashamed of, and she won't have to tell people my mom's mentally ill. Like, I'm not mentally fucking ill. I'm emotionally distraught, and I tell people that too. Get your facts straight. Post-traumatic stress disorder is actually an emotional disorder and not a mental disorder. And I tried to disclose that to people years ago. And when all the divorce happened and everything, they did not see it like that. They saw the documentation, they went off of their sheets, and I said, there's always changes in psychology. There's always changes in diagnoses. So please get your facts straight, get to know the person, the individual that you've destroyed, and all the things that you've ripped from me and manipulated away from my hands and my poodles and all this and that. I will not shut up about that. The fuck, those were my family. You couldn't replace those with millions of dollars. You could not replace those little hearts and souls. I want to stab you, motherfucker. The man who came into the fucking room and asked me to sign over custody of the dogs because I said, well, what do you mean? My mom's not taking care of them? Nobody's taking care of them? And he just laughed at me at one point, too. And I was like, you fucking piece of shit. Because I said, no, I know somebody's going to take care of them. I know God, like in my mind it was God. God's going to take care of them until I can see them again. And he just laughed at me. Because he was like, well, you'll never see your dogs again. And I'm like, you pieces of shit. Like, I would need $1 million fucking dollars for each one of those dogs that I fucking lost, just to make some, and $1 million wouldn't even fix it. It would be like $1 trillion fucking dollars for each one of those goddamn dogs. Do you not realize how much my love is worth? Do you not realize that? You cannot put a price on love like that, pure love. So, I'm fucking horrified. You cannot put a price on that. I just want my dogs back. I want my kid back. And then when I get too emotional, people think I'm faking it. And in actuality, it's those emotions that I capture during those heightened states, because you need to realize what these people have done to me when they thought I was manipulating them this whole time, because they said that I had manipulative tears and shit. And I'm like, no, I was crying because you were hurting me. I was crying because I couldn't handle what you were telling me. And they were like, well, no, you're the deviant. You're the criminal. You harassed your ex-husband's communications. What? I didn't realize freedom of speech and trying to contact someone that stole from me should be an issue. You should have been handling that on the cops' ends to get my shit back to me. So I didn't have to go through homelessness. So I didn't have to go through being raped. So I didn't have to go through all of this nonsense. But I wasn't pretty enough for you people. I wasn't perfect enough back then either. And even now. And I wasn't articulate enough. I didn't have the words to confront anyone. I wasn't vocal. So that's how I was easily abused through the systems. Because I always smiled and I went with it and I was, compliant. And I thought, okay, yeah, they'll see it from my side soon. They'll see it. They'll understand. Like, I'm in safe hands. The officers have me. The doctors have me. I'm in safe hands now. I had to grow the fuck up. I had to grow a pair of fucking balls. My life is a joke. I laugh though. It's not too bad. Anyway, April 10th, 2022, Leticia Collins Servin. And I don't know when whenever I'd make more videos. But everyone have a blessed day, and I hope everyone's doing well. Get some exercise and drink some water and have some vegetables. That's what I say. But that's what I need to go do right now. Have a good day.